Hello, good afternoon, traders. This is Baha Pips, and today is Thursday, October 19th, 2023, 3:03 p.m. I'm here in Eastern China, and I'm going to be trading Euro USD on the 1 minute chart, along with some London stocks on the 1 minute chart as well. I want to get started just by sitting on my hands, assessing the market conditions. I'm going to look to the right on the LVMH. This is what I'm going to be day trading today. Looks like it's a pretty strong drop to the downside. I want to see if we have a solid pullback, and maybe I might consider taking a trade based off of that. I have a 60 lot right now, but I may increase that shortly. I want to see if we have a nice pullback following this gap, and if we have a nice drop or not. Right now, we do have some nice thrust to the downside, but we have pulled back just briefly. Also, I want to take a look at the Euro US dollar as well, so just bear with me as I get over here to my trading view. I'm going to be marking up this chart as usual. I'm going to look at the price action prior to this session and just mark up my notes and let y'all know. It's been pretty choppy majority of the day. That's pretty obvious. Choppy range bound low movement, and then we had a nice bottoming. Price moved on up, reverse, so still pretty choppy all in all. Haven't really seen any clean moves up until recently, so I'm going to mark that on off. As far as movement goes, we have at least 15 pips in the past 2 hours, so that's how I read it. Did that in a few seconds. Like reading a book. There we go. There's my notes to get the day started. And yeah, we're going to just watch. I don't want to chase price, so I'm not going to buy this. The wave size is not strong enough anyways, so that's just going to be a red flag. Stop loss will be sitting right below 1.0542. And yeah, in just a moment, we'll see if we have a good enough thrust or if this is just going to be a no trade. And I'm going to go back to the trading view as well so I can get ready for that. Apologies, that's a trading view, the MetaTrader. So far, nothing. Could be a possible drop to the downside. I do like this, but conditions have been a little bit choppy yesterday too for this pair. So just judging by that, I'm going to be a little bit careful when I'm taking these trades. I'm going to do like a 75 lot on this just because I'm trying to risk a small amount. You see the Euro USD on the left side. It's actually failing that breakout as I speak. LVMH, it was a nice thrust to the downside, but we had a deep pullback recently. And, you know, I have certain rules and parameters for choppy conditions. So I want to see if this is a follow through, then I'll take the next trade. But right now, LVMH, I'm not going to take this trade. Not going to take this sell. Stop loss will be sitting right above 663.48. And I'm just not convinced that this is a sell yet, but I will be more convinced if we can drop below 659. I'll be able to place a stop loss within a reasonable place. Euro USD, I'm just going to sit on my hands and wait a little bit longer. And yeah, that's just my assessment of the markets right now. Y'all can see I'm following, I'm working from left to right, right to left. It's pretty straightforward for me. I know what to trade, I know what not to trade, and when to trade it. So yep, there's your USD and that trailing stop loss. So I would have had a trailing stop loss right at this point, 1.05441. And as we can see, price is hesitant, struggling just as I called. Usually when I have choppy conditions, I have to wait for an additional confirmation after a move. That's just my new rule. And I'll be applying that throughout the rest of my trading along my journey. So right now, yeah, I'm just looking to see if we have a nice little follow through to the downside. If so, I know where to place my stop loss on LVMH. And let's see, how much will I be going for? Keep on trailing back up. I'm not going to see. I don't like that. I would have had a stop loss of 26 points. Probably going to went for 50 way down here, but really see that happening as of right now. Looks like both markets are kind of congested. I did have a losing day yesterday on Euro. I had a minus 2.1 hour day. I'm going to post that on my Twitter as well. I kind of just logged off after that. Wasn't in the greatest mindset to continue trading. So just traded for about an hour and a half, less than that, and didn't see anything. Right now, we're just waiting, assessing this market. We can see that there's a possible reversal in play, but not a reversal that I like because I think we need to fill this gap. And just from where LVMH dropped off for the day, I'm going to mark that up. That's that 10 o'clock gap. We need to fill that gap pretty much. Break above that gap. I started right here. Yeah, we need to break above that gap before I look for longs. If not, we're in too tight of an area to trade. Same with Euro USD. There's nothing here, so I'm just looking at both of them left to right. Euro, we have a nice little confirmation of a move up, but the wave size was too small for me anyways, so it was like 4 pips. I do believe this could work, but I need to see this trigger follow through. So looking back over to the left. Yeah, I need to see this. Would have been like a 1.8 pip stop loss. The entire wave size was about 2.7 pips. So to me, it's not really that good. I'm just gonna wait for a new thrust. Let's see, if you're trading impulsively right now, you're gonna end up taking some bad beats. You just want to wait, sit on your hands. Maybe there's a little reversal happening right now. Just gonna wait. It's worth waiting sometimes. That nice little push on down. All right, so wanted to move. Apologies for that. I just have to reconnect. I just changed my location, and I just need to adjust my charts and my alignment. A minute. Adjust what's happening. Hey. I haven't really seen anything. Not a big deal. Could be a little distracting, and that's not okay. So everything is adjusted again, and I'm back. As y'all can see, I haven't missed much. This is what I mean by choppy day. I even mentioned it. That's why it's always good to read price action before you start trading and to have a pretty much a go-to when it comes to how are you going to adapt to these conditions. So just because it's choppy does not mean that I cannot trade, but it also means that I must adapt to the choppy context. There's going to be times when it's not favorable for your strategies. So it's up to you as a trader that trades these strategies all the time to assess the market conditions and to identify when things are going to be a little off, because you already know from experience that, hey, in choppy conditions, my strategy, my edge is actually diminished. I have a less probability of winning in choppy conditions. Like right here, this looks like a possible RT on the left side with the Euro USD. Looks like price may be going downwards now. But do I want to take this trade knowing that there's some significant swings lows nearby? I'm going to put this cross here and hover it over the lows. So 1.05387. That's the reason why I didn't want to take that short, just because I did see those significant lows nearby. And the entry was too close to those lows, which is why I'm sitting out. So I don't need to put this note on my trading view anymore because it's a rule that I have embedded in my system and I followed so many times before that it becomes second nature. It just wouldn't really make too much sense to make that a rule. As of right now, I don't see much, but I am sitting on my hands. There's a lot going on in the world right now, so a lot of the country is just kind of just stand still. We haven't made any vital decisions yet about the forthcoming few months. Like, when there's war, when there's a lot of economic things going on in the world, there's going to be a lot of indecision when it comes to the global leaders and how they go about their trade of products and goods. And it could affect the GDP and the employment of multiple societies. So that's just my own fundamental outlook of how things normally would go in certain conditions. And we're experiencing that right now. So just like how the world has to adapt and adjust, that's the same way I go about my strategy. And I also wrote an article. I'm going to post it down below in the description box, but I recently wrote an article today, and it's about the evolution of a strategy and you as a trader and how you can adapt to evolving strategies. Because while I'm waiting on this, I'll explain to you. Because when you are adapting to a strategy, you have to understand that the strategy was taught and it was written out for you as the trader to learn from during that time that the author of that article wrote it. Therefore, that strategy went through months, years, weeks, who knows? But it went through time of evolution. Market conditions changed, and so did the person that created the strategy. So if I create a strategy right now saying buy low, sell high, but this was a strategy I created in 2000, it's been 23 years since I made that strategy. Wouldn't it be rational to think that that strategy is oversaturated and there's no more buy low, sell high, but maybe you have to buy low at a certain time or place and sell high at a certain time and place? So that's something that you would only be able to get from me, the author of that strategy, if you're still following up with me. Or if you started trading that strategy at 23 years ago and you had your own ways of trading it and your own understanding of how to adapt. So that's just my own little tip, is that strategies change and maybe the way I'm trading today is completely different than the way I used to trade. And that's totally normal. That's completely fine. And that's just going to happen. So right now, I'm waiting. Euro USD might be on a real breakout. And I do like what I'm seeing right now. But I'm not going to chase the market. I need to just continue to sit on my hands and wait. And as you can see, the Euro USD is correlating with LVMH. That's why I like to just trade Euro USD by itself sometimes. But today I'm going to trade a stop just so I can double my profits. Now it could play a double-edged sword. I could also lose more because I'm trading more, but I'm only going to take high quality trade setups. And I can see it across the board. They're both moving in unison, one after another simultaneously. Euro USD is bullish. Same with LVMH. But I want to see just how big this wave is. It's 5 pips. So to me, if we break up a little bit higher above 1.05480 and we have a small pullback, I may consider taking that trade. But if we start hesitating like we are right now, I'm not going to buy it right away. Same with LVMH. There's no RB on the right. There's no RB and there's no TC just yet. So I'm actually just sitting on my hands. I'm waiting. I'm going to write a lot less notes on my chart today because I don't want to switch back and forth when I'm trading more than one pair at a time. It's just a little bit of a distraction. So y'all might see me trade first and then mark up my charts later just because I don't want to be distracted. But right now, this pullback, for example, is not a great pullback. Why is it not a great pullback? Because it's pulling back on the edge of the chart. If you see that we just came out of a little range, we failed to the downside, we have a strong thrust up. But this pullback is pulling back right on the edge of London session highs, and I don't like to see that. So that could tell me that one of two things could happen. One of three things could happen. We could have this pullback followed by a breakout, which would confirm my TC. But we're so close to the edge that that breakout may not go that far in my direction before reversing and coming back into the older range, forming some bear moves. Also, that could see now I like to see this right here. This is what I like to see. So now, as long as price continues going on up, we have a pullback outside of this range to the left, swing highs at 10.05. Then I may consider taking a buy because everything else fits. But if we don't get that all together, I'm not going to consider taking the trade. Right now, the pullback is a little bit deep. It's a little bit too deep for my liking. And that's exactly what I was saying. You don't want to chase these. This pullback is about 2 pips. The wave size is about 6. So it's still pretty reasonable, but now it's getting way too large. This is almost this is about a 4-pip pullback. So for me, I'm not interested in longing this. And we're going to continue with the chop. Just like that. So y'all can see it's a 5-pip pullback. That's 4.2, so about a 4-pip pullback. Notice that this thing isn't fully aligned properly. There we go. I was like, what in the world is going on? Yeah, give or take about a 5-pip pullback. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna continue to wait. I don't really want to force a trade. I don't want to really do anything too crazy and get myself caught up in a bad, sticky situation. If you're unsure about something, you're not forced to trade. I recommend just sitting on your hands and just waiting. That's exactly what I'm going to keep doing. It's been about 23 minutes into this session. So far, I took 0 trades. That's just how it is sometimes. And y'all can see I have a larger lot size I'm using today than I was in the previous video. That's because I'm trading a different one of my accounts. No matter what account I trade, depending on the balance of that account, I'm going to adjust my position size to 1% of that. No more than 1% of that is going to be my risk. So that's why I have this larger position size than I did in my last video. I'm trading a different size account, and so I'm able to have that type of risk. That's just the wait. I want to see more of what's happening. And actually, I have to risk a little bit less. I'm going to do a 9 lot, or at least 9.5, because as you may notice, I'm trading more than one pair. That's one thing that I just personally forgot to adjust. Trading more than one pair, meaning that if I do take a loss on 2 pairs, I'm doubling my loss. So instead of and I have to respect my daily limits when it comes to losses. That's why I did that. Just a little heads up, something that I just forgot before I pressed the record button. If I did lose, I would not be able to take as many trades with a higher risk, but now I have lower risk. I'm able to take more trades. As we can see, LVMH is in a range, same with Euro USD, and it's not a tradable range. It's not favorable. So I'm going to just sit on my hands and wait a little bit longer. And that's all I'm doing. Like, I have to just continue to wait. I'll talk to y'all, but I already mentioned it's been choppy all day. We had more movement coming into the London Open, but movement is different from context. Movement just tells me, oh, it's enough activity. There's enough participants. That means if I take a trade that's valid, I have a higher chance of it following through to my target. If it's not enough movement, kind of like how Asian session moves, I do not trade because it doesn't make sense for me. I'm going to be waiting forever, and there's a higher chance that I'm going to take a loss on that setup. Now, context, when I say it's choppy, that's because I've read the conditions, I read the market in the past few hours, whatever, and it's been giving very little opportunity to follow through. Because remember, I can read price action. So I can read my patterns and my strategies a few hours in advance. And I can just tell y'all ahead of time, oh, this is working, this is not working. Okay, it's been working, it's a really good day. Y'all go back to some of my videos in the past, you can actually see and hear me talk in real time. And some of the days are way better than this. I'm like, hey, great movement, y'all. We had many triggers working. German looked pretty solid. A couple moves I would have took. That's a good day. But a day like this where I'm looking at it and I'm like, I don't really like it. That's not a great condition. So there's condition, there's movement. Two separate things, but you combine them like you do velocity and magnitude, you will have a lethal combination when it comes to you and your trader's arsenal in trading the market. So just some advice, just some tip. I got to keep waiting. There's nothing else I can do. Unfortunately, markets are going to do what it's got to do at the end of the day, and I don't control it. So if I don't see a setup, I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to look for a reason to take a trade. No, that's delusional. That's how you lose. But in this video, for those of you that actually take my content seriously and watch my videos, I'm going to give y'all some more advice while I wait, because that's all I can do today is wait. I want to talk about clout chasers. So those of you that have been following me for years, y'all see my journey from years ago to how I am now. Years ago, I might have been displaying and showing larger account flips. Y'all might have seen me take 60, for example, I had a journey where I took a 60K account and I brought it to 600K. I did that within a month and I showcased it to everyone. No one believed me, but it was real. I was really trading. Here's the thing, that did not last long because I tried to do it again and I did not blow the account, but it kind of stood between a 200K and it went back to 100, then it went back to like 350, but it never achieved that 600K and beyond ever again. Why did that happen? Because I was trading high risk, high reward. So some of my trades, I might have had 5 to 10% risk per trade. And obviously, if I'm risking 10% and my reward is 50, well, I'm going to double the account in like a couple trades. So to me, I wouldn't necessarily say I was gambling, but I was definitely not trading the way I trade today. I'm trading today for the longevity of my career. I had to change a few things up. And, this is how you become consistent and how you trade forever is you don't trade high risk. You don't look for high reward. Sometimes that reward may not come, and then you're just sitting there hoping for something to come that's not relevant to current conditions. You know how many traders are in some trades for years thinking it's going to bounce back to that position and give them their fortune? Well, that trader just lost many years of their life waiting for something to come that did not come and may never come. That's the same with the Bitcoin traders. They hodl. They want to trade. They want to buy. They want to sell. Whatever. They want to buy and they want to hold. Think about the people that bought at 70K. It's been over a year. You think it's going to go back to 70K? I don't know. Right now, it's sitting below 28K. And if you're still trading BTC, then, hey, there's ways you can trade it. But if you're buying and holding, or you're trading a certain way, you're never going to have the type of outcome long term. So you gotta be more realistic. That's what it's all about. Realistic expectations. You got to be realistic with your own assessment of your own skills, your own goals, your own strategies, and that's how you get more consistency. Is being realistic. you're unrealistic about your results. Your equity curve is always going to be spiky and weird, and you're never going to see success, and you're going to burn out. That's just a little advice. Right now, I'm still waiting on the pairs to move. I don't see anything yet. Euro USD still chopping around in the range. At this point, I need to see the highs of the day taken out, or I need to see lows of 1.05370 need to be taken out before I take a trade. If I don't see any of that happening, I'm not going to touch this pair today. I'm just going to leave it alone. Same with LVMH. You see how I marked up a range. 664.80 needs to be taken out, or I don't care. And 659.40 needs to be taken out, or I don't care. On top of that, 664.80 taken out. I need to see daily highs taken out. Remember, I marked that up at 666.60, meaning that's where it opened at. Its open price was its daily highs. I don't want to see price buying into the daily highs and not breaking it. That is not a high probability trade. I'd rather see it break the daily highs and confirm, or bounce off the daily highs and give me a nice setup. I don't see any of that. I'm sitting on my hands. I'm not trading. I'm not touching anything. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. There's no trading. 30 minutes in, we know it's a choppy day. You see how the mindset is. If you've been watching this to this point, you hear exactly what I said, and you can see exactly what's going on. Don't predict, I react. When it's time, I react. When it's not time, I sit on my hands. Best thing to do besides trading is not trading, because every time that you don't trade something that looks like it's good and it does not work out, I could have took a loss on the Euro USD just earlier. Remember when I told y'all that it looked like it was breaking out, but I was not going to buy it if the pullback was not valid? And look what happened. It broke in. It went back to the downside, and that would have been a loss. I would have already had my stop loss hit. Don't believe traders that are talking about not using stop losses. That is probably the worst thing to do. Unless you are a super pro, like literally like the greatest of all time, to go use a stop loss, please. Don't follow these people not using stop losses. They are predicting, they are gambling, and they are on the wild side. Don't be on the wild side. Another thing, people showcasing cars. Where's the pink slip? Why are you not showing how the car was actually purchased? They lease the cars, or they buy it with money that did not come from the Forex market, because there's no way they can show proof of that journey of them actually building a consistent portfolio with the car money, which they could then withdraw in front of you and not just show a coin-based screenshot. If you're showing screenshots and you're not showing the process that got to that screenshot, red flag. Remember, everything I'm saying in this video, even though I'm not trading right now, I am trading. I'm just not taking a trade. But this is still trading. I'm reading price action, and I'm telling y'all when I'm going to get in and when I'm going to sit out. So I'm going to keep talking now. So back to these cloud chasers. I don't need to call out any names because I do not have beef with anyone in the industry. I care about myself, my own journey. I focus on my students in my circle. That's it. So I do see entertainment though, and I like to talk about it. So if you're offended, I mean, hey, you should not be in that lane. You should be more geared towards the way I'm teaching and the way I'm talking. Because as you can see, I back my stuff up. I back everything I say up. I even have these videos in real time for y'all to see everything that I say. I say I'm going to take a trade before I take the trade, and the trade works. Cool. If I don't take a trade, cool. If I take a loss, I'll see everything. I even said I had a losing day yesterday. Was it a big loss? No, I control it. Now, if I didn't use a stop loss yesterday, I probably would be blown. Or if I use a high leverage and no stop loss, my account will be in sinking like the Titanic. So y'all understand that everything I share, proof to it. Right now, it looks like a possible TC to the upside on LVMH. Do I want to take it? No. Why? Because it's still below daily highs. We're still stuck in between a tight range. It gapped down. Now I want to see this buy work, and I may look for another trade if it continues working. What I like to see in a choppy condition is I like to see nice follow through. If I don't see good follow through, I'm not going to chase price. So right now, if price does break above 660, 660 on this pullback right now, then I'm going to potentially look to start trading this pair. But if it starts to come back within that older range of 664.39 and 660.26, then I'm not going to trade because the range is too small for me to find anything valid. Same with the Euro USD. It's breaking down below this little lows that I marked, that I talked about a few minutes ago, 105.370. But hey, if we're still bouncing around and not giving anything valid, I'm not going to trade it. So just wait, just see. There's nothing that you can do this entire time. Intraminute, I can read intraminute. I am seeing price. Triggers have been, for the most part, yes, they have been working out intraminute, but they have been whipsawing, not the cleanest moves yet to the downside. And that's it. Let's look at intraminute on LVMH. Has it been following through the past several minutes? Let's see. Nice little pullbacks, breakouts. We just had a recent disruption in that rally. Maybe we're gonna get a reversal and back to the downside, but I'm already seeing that it's a little choppy. It's getting choppier the past few minutes. So I'm gonna leave it alone. Let's see what happens. So I'm not gonna buy this. Like I said, I don't just trade something just because I see it. If it's great, if it's good conditions, nice flow, I would buy this all day. But today, it's just been a little bit choppy. That's what the market's been showing me. So there's certain actions that I'm not going to take in this condition today, if that makes sense. So normally I would buy LVMH right now, but I am not going to buy it because my stop loss would be right below 664.20. And if it hits below 664.20, that would have been a stop out, and I saved myself. I prevented myself from a loss. That's 2 losses I prevented myself from in front of y'all. And I called it out. You have to master your strategy before you move on to another pair. So if you see people clout chasing opportunists trying to trade multiple pairs at once, and like I said, like, you have to know what you're doing to trade more than one pair. It's not just a thing you just learn over time. Like, you gotta master what you know, and then you gotta apply it to those other pairs. Therefore, you also gotta know the conditions and when they change. That's how you become profitable. Look at that. That buy that I mentioned that I would have took a minute ago on a normal day, it would have been a stop out, and I would have took a loss today. So y'all are seeing the power of not trading. I saved myself at least 2R today by not trading. 3R if you include the first trade on the open of the London Open Euro USD. Remember this one I mentioned earlier, this buy? I said I'm not buying it because, yeah, right here, it was just not good enough. The wave size was not strong enough coming into the trade. That's one of the general rules I have. I have these rules and I follow them every single day. And I saved myself hundreds of R just by not taking trades. Think about that. Think about how powerful that statement is. I have saved myself hundreds of R by not taking trades. So yes, there's the offense that you can play, which is taking the trades during when you find a setup. But then there's also the defense, which is just as important, if not more important, than the offense. The right time to take a trade might happen 5% of the time you're watching the charts. The wrong time to take a trade happens 95% of the time. So if you are able to sit through 95% of the crap that you see, and you're able to spot out that 5% of the time that does work, and you know when to execute that, that is powerful. That means that you are 95% efficient in your strategy. 95% efficiency, meaning that you are mastering your strategy. Once you get to that point, yes, I do agree, you can trade differently. Right now, this would be a DP on the right side of LVMH. I'm not going to trade this yet because, like I said, conditions been choppy. I'm not going to be the sucker to buy this DP on the right if the entire time it's been chopping. I have not seen good follow-throughs. So I used to be impulsive or more impulsive. I would take this buy at 665.09. But the thing is, I would take another loss, and that would be minus 2R on the day on that pair. Today, I sat on my hands because I noticed it's a choppy condition. Don't like something. I have not seen solid follow through. I'm not going to take the trade. This comes from experience. It's intuitive. It's a conscious decision. It's not something that is written on paper on a strategy that is distributed months ago. This is something that you have to hone. This is a skill. Remember what I said. You don't become a 3-point professional basketball player shooter by looking and reading something off of a paper or following a coach. You become a specialist, a 3-point specialist like Chef Curry, if and only if you have the right practice and the right, not just practice all the time, but the way you practice, the way you know how to do certain things. Release the ball out your hands, finger roll, everything that you know. You have to know your own strength. I used to be a power shooter. What does that mean? I get a lot of bricks. Why? Because I was too strong. So when I saw my teammates shoot the ball, they would shoot and I would try to finger roll it like them. I realized that my arms was 5 times bigger than theirs. So if I'm trying to finger roll it, then my junk is gonna either go over the rim, over the hoop, or it's gonna smack the back of the backboard and bounce back to the other side of the court. So what did I have to do? Well, I had to learn how to control my strength, and my arch had to go higher. And that means that I had to shoot the ball higher in the air, and I had to go with a different type of flow. You see, I practiced for many, many hours per week in the gym, and I got better at basketball. I became a 3-point shooter like I aspired to be. And that's all I did. Whenever you threw me the ball, I shot that jump behind the arc, and my shot went in like Kevin Durant. Not gonna lie. So that's what I was saying. You have to switch it up sometimes. You have to like transition. You have to learn how you trade, just like how I made the analogy with basketball. You have to learn how you trade. You have to know how you trade, and you have to know how your trading differs from someone else's. It's the evolution of a trader, which is why this is such a hard subject to touch base on. But that's reality. It can't get any realer than that. And that goes for anything, any skill you're building in life. Right now, there's a possible RB on the left side of your USD, but we're in such a tight, congested range. I'm not going to trade this RB. I want to see follow through. Like I said, I want to see triggers working. So maybe I can sit this one out. Why is it not a good quality RB? Because the trade itself that's setting up as an RB, it is only one that would potentially be working out of the many trades that just failed. Remember, my goal is not to get lucky. And that right there is hoping that, oh, I'm hoping that this RB works out. But in reality, that RB would have hit a trailing stop right now. I would have been in that long 2 minutes ago. I'm gonna put the crosshair and hover it over where I would have been on that long, right here. I would have been on the RB right here, right around 1.05425 on a normal day. And as y'all can see, it would have been against my position, and then trailing stop would have hit my stop, my trailing stop. So I would have been able to get out at a better loss because my original stop loss would have been right here, right on 105. 105.397. That would be the original stop. Over time, I evolved as a trader. In that same trade, I would be getting out like a few pips ago at 105.414. As you can see, it's going against that position. I would have saved myself 50% of my losses. I would have discounted myself 50% just by intuitively learning how I used to trade and how I adapt. And that was the power of a trailing stop. Now you see that would have been a 1R loss, which means if I risked 1%, I would have lost the 1% maybe a few months ago. And then I worked on that. And then I started losing 0.5%. Now I don't even lose anything because I'm not taking that trade because I already told you I have rules that I have before I take a trade that would prevent me from taking the bad trade. Continue watching. It could be boring on days like this. Like I said, swing traders too. At least I'm day trading and I have opportunities daily. As a swing trader, sometimes you might have to sit out for weeks. The world could go through things like you don't know, but you have to sit out for weeks, maybe 10 days, maybe a week. But swing trading, right now I took 0 swing trades this week. That's just because the conditions were not favorable for me. I did see a valid setup on the SPX 500 yesterday, but that setup failed. And that was the first valid setup out of a series of failing triggers. So that just validated what I just went through just now when I said that if the triggers are not working, don't take the trade. Now we see prices moving to the downside on Euro USD. Will we finally find a good opportunity? We may not find an opportunity this entire session. 45 minutes in, and I still do not see anything good. So normally I just wait. You know, that's all I can do. It's a waiting game. I just wait, wait, wait. And when the time is right to strike, y'all will see I will take the trade. Right now, we're in chop. There's nothing I can do. I can't teach this in one course. I can't teach this in one article. This is something that you just have to come back and watch my videos. I have thorough, in-depth videos, and I explain every tick, every bar, like I'm doing right now. I explain every tick, by the way. I said, oh, this is 0.5%. This is 1%. What is that, y'all? That's ticks. I'm not reading price the same way as everyone, as y'all can see right now. And I'm being transparent. I'm telling y'all what I would have took. Oh, I would have took this one on a normal day, but today I'm not. And there you go. So that movement is all right. Starting to expand. So I like to see that. Maybe we get a TC to the downside. Who knows? I'm looking intermittent and I'm seeing a solid follow through. Four points. Okay. Go back's a little deep already. And this is one of those trades where I'm not going to go right away. This trigger does work. Kind of large, it's like a 3-pip bar. But yeah, if this trigger does work, I'm going to wait. This is getting kind of deep. Gotta have rules to back up your rules sometimes. Sometimes a rule is not good enough, and you might need that additional rule to validate that rule. That's how trading is, y'all. Like, literally, you might have a rule, and it's like, oh, if this works, cool. But what happens if that rule is not always right? Well, then you have a flaw, and you just need to back that rule up with another rule, pretty much. That makes sense to y'all that are a little bit advanced and understand my language. LVMH is dead. I don't even want to trade this today. Usually, if the first hour goes by on the stocks and I don't see anything, good. I'm just gonna leave it alone. I don't see anything. Nada. Nice little RT that happened on Euro USD recently, but it's like not too strong. Went down like 1 hour. See that? Can't see the RT. I'll highlight it right here. You know, I am literate in reading price. May not be the greatest, but I am literate. That one was about 2.5 pips, and then it just dropped about. It dropped a little over 1 R, like 1.5 R recently. Yeah, I do like that. Just had a pop on up. We had a little whipsaw. But at this point, I need to see price. Over here, that's still going to be like 3 pips. 3 pips stop loss for a move that just only went down 4 pips. That's not good. So I'm not going to chase this. I know it looks like a decent DP right now, but I'm not going to chase that. I need to see a stronger wave size coming out, coming into my trigger. And yeah, this recent one was only under 4 pips, and the stop loss would be 3 pips from my entry that I would take. So yeah, unfortunately, it's another one I'm going to wait. As you may see, it might continue chopping. That's how I'm reading it on these days. because I realized that all other days I win. Most other days I literally win. Over 85% of my days that I trade, Monday through Friday, I win. I have winning days. Like I might have losses within the day, but I have winning days, and I'm only getting better. So I started studying my losing days, like yesterday, for example, and I realized that I need to focus on these losing days, and I need to have rules for these type of contexts. So these choppy days are not just losing days, and I know I can make the excuse for myself all the time and say, "Hey, it was a choppy day. I took a loss because it was choppy." Yeah, that's obvious. I know it's choppy. We all see it's choppy, but how can I prevent the losses from happening on these days? You see, I'm always questioning myself. I'm always digging a little bit deeper into my psychology. And that's how I get better and better and better. This is no secret trick. It's just you listen to me, you work with me, I train you, you can adapt, you can adopt this mindset. That's all it is. It's very simple. You don't listen to me if you're following other people that are just clout chasers and you're having unrealistic expectations along with unrealistic results. Because, like I said, you could take wins, but those could be lucky wins. Because can you replicate those Monday through Friday on a consistent basis? If you can't do that, that's not skill, that's luck. So know the difference between skill and luck. Can you admit when you're wrong? And can you go back? Oh, look at that. See, that sell was not going to work. You see that? Go back to what I was saying. Can you admit when you're wrong? And when you are actually wrong, can you go back and verify that wrong and confirm if it was really a mistake you made, or if you did everything you can and the conditions were wrong? And can you go back into that at a later date and identify differences? So, a moment. I had to take a quick break, take a quick breather. Yeah, I'm back. So, LVMH looks like we're retesting the highs of the day. Maybe we get enough thrust, but it's still not strong enough of a break north. So I'm not going to go for any buys yet. I need to see LVMH get a stronger buy, stronger push. I don't see that. Fortunately, I'm going to leave it alone. And Euro USD, same. Nothing valid, nothing good. I'm going to leave that one alone as well. When in doubt, stay out. Might be one of those days if next several minutes I see more chop, I'm just going to call it a day. It's 3:57 p.m. over here. It's in China, and I don't see anything good. So leave that alone. Go to my trading view. Y'all can see on my trading view, there's different visuals, same stuff. Nothing valid, nothing good, a bunch of chop, grind, a bunch of drift. And yeah, those are horrible times, horrible conditions. You just want to stay out. Defense can also be the best offense sometimes. On days like this, playing good defense, you're actually playing very good offense. I end my day, no high impact moves, could be manipulated conditions sometimes. It's just like how I learned how to trade better like this today. Well, is because I had a losing day for the first time in 10 days yesterday. So that losing day taught me a lot, and it taught me how to play better defense. So those trades that I did take that were actually very clean trades, but I knew the context was off. I should not have took those trades because those were too impulsive for that kind of day. Hope this is starting to click to y'all. Like y'all can actually see me actually evolve as a trader from day to day. I have videos dating back all the way like years ago. Even go to my videos from a year from today, and you can see a year ago from today, back in 2022, when I was scalping, I was taking more losses. Like now, I'm having ways where I can prevent most losses from happening. My efficiency rating is going up. So this might be a boring video for some of y'all because you might have been waiting for some action, but this is how the real pros play. Like There ain't no action. You're not touching this. You're not shorting it just because you feel like getting into the trade. I know it could be boring, but there's days when there's really no moves for your strat for you. Like maybe someone else, but that's not me. Why am I gonna try to pretend that I'm someone else? Like none of these moves are me. When I say, yo, this is me, this is my move, that's cool. Look back, I see a move right here, right? 1421. This is before my session. Move kind of happened and the breakout happened right here at 1423. So I gotta ask myself, why did that one fail? If I were to take this one, it would have failed, as y'all can see. It would have actually failed at break even a couple minutes later at 1426. It's that fast. That trade would have been a 3-minute trade on a regular day. And what makes it different today is that instead of just going in on that buy 1423, I would have actually waited for further confirmation. So once prices was pulling back, I started seeing it popping up. That buy should have been right here. Stop loss should have been right here. And as prices going in my favor, I would have been trailing it out right here. You see, very tight, aggressive trailing stops at break even, but I'm paying commission. The commission does add up over time, so I'd rather skip the entire trade. How would I know to skip the trade? Well, I'm looking back in the past and I'm seeing that the prior triggers were failing. You can see that the multiple triggers, multiple times, were actually not working out. And that would have told me, hey, this RB that happened to work right here, I'm going to sit out and I'm going to wait for this TC to work. And yeah, that would have been a valid trade setup, the one trade setup that I would have took today if I traded during German session. But I didn't. That would have been a break even. Now you're like, maybe we get an RT, right? It does the same thing. You don't even get triggered in until right here. Would I have taken this RT? Well, no, because it was kind of weird when it was moving to new swing highs. We do see the acceleration to the downside, and on a normal day, I would take that. But if I just seen that this trigger failed, I would not be trying to take this one right away just because, and we're slowing. You see price action is actually slowing a few minutes before that trigger. And that would be 2 red flags. I would skip it and I would prevent another loss. Now we have a potential RB back to the upside. Once again, skip it because all the triggers been failing prior. That one might have worked out, but hey, you don't take every trade setup. Now you're waiting. If this one worked out, you're waiting to see the next TC or the next triggers are working. If they are following through, then you take your next setup. If it's not following through, as y'all can see right here, there's nothing. You don't trade at all. There's the open of my session, and now we're following through with some action. So that's kind of how I read it. I just read it from left to right for the past couple hours that we've been in price. Go back to my chart and see if I find a setup. Back on my charts, and I'm about to go in the next 8 minutes if I don't see anything. It's been over an hour and I don't have anything valid, but I still haven't seen any great follow throughs. So I don't see anything in the next 7 minutes. I'm calling it a day. Same with LVMH. I have my daily limits, time limits, because I don't want to take anything impulsive just for the heck of saying, hey, I'm going to take it because I'm bored, or or I'm chasing for you. I want to win today. Like that's how a lot of people fail. Like they want to win. They're bored. They want to find a setup that's not there. Sometimes there's not anything there. Like what are you going to do? Pray to the pit gods that something happened. Like there's nothing there. You can't trade. So that's what I'm seeing. No action, no skin in the game. I'm good right now. This drop right here on Euro USD the past several minutes is weak, really weak. I don't want to take this, even if it follows through. We need to break the lows of 1.05325. There's some swing lows at 930 on my chart. And as you can see, those 930 lows are not taken out. So it's struggling to break those 930 lows. Therefore, I'm not going to take any type of setup before those lows. And I need to see acceleration after this break. Right now, price is decelerating in the past 2 minutes. So if this next minute bar is not stronger than the bars preceding it, then I don't want to take a trade. It's a red flag. See, I'm reading things on a micro perspective. I'm reading things from a quantum point. And to get to this point, to this level, you really got to go through it, y'all. Like, the only way, you got to go through it, but you got to start somewhere. So if you're scared, you're nervous, you're hesitant to start trading, you're never going to get there. You have to start somewhere, y'all. Like, it might seem really difficult, but to me, it's been quite an easy session, much easier than yesterday because I have these rules now. So it's only hard when I'm taking trades that I should not be taking. I'm taking losses. Yes, this is a condition that's not good, but it's not a foreign condition. I'm familiar with these conditions. I trade these conditions all the time. So just because it's choppy and nothing is working out doesn't mean it's hard. It's just not good. Not good does not mean hard. Vocabulary has to change, y'all. Not good just means, hey, there's nothing that I would take here, but I can read it very clearly still. So just know that. Know everything I'm saying. 5 more minutes, y'all, and I'm gonna call it a day. 0 trades today, but I'm glad y'all was able to see me trade currency pair, a stock. And yeah, LVMH is Louis Vuitton MOET Hennessy, for those of you that are wondering. I highlight it right here. You know. Here we go. Oh, this is LVMH, but yeah, it stands for Louis Vuitton MOET Hennessy. Those of you that like the Louis Vuitton brand, like wearing clothes, I steps on the way. Shout out to Henny. Yeah, that's the company, the Umbrella Corporation. But yeah, I don't see anything good. Still nothing, and we're about 4 minutes away from me logging out. We could reverse back towards the highs of the day, but I've been getting straight grind. Trigger's been failing. Reversal that's possibly occurring right now could happen, but I don't see anything that I would be setting up for in the next few minutes. So that's it, y'all. I'm gonna call it a day. Fortunately, there's no trades taken today, and this is the reality of it. And I'm glad I saved myself at least 4 or 5 R today because I did not take trades that I would have took on a regular day, and I saved myself, prevented 5% in losses just by sitting on my hands. At least 5% losses across both pairs. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We're starting to see a nice little thrust, but hey, it's the first one of many. Maybe we start seeing some movement. Should I stick around for another few minutes? I could. I'm ready to log out, but we can see. This is an RB, but it's not one that I'm familiar with. So, not Euro USD. It's not one that I'm familiar with, so I'm gonna stay out. I want to get lucky now. I don't want to chase. I've been the effect of some news. It got released, but it's not high impact, so it's not marked on my chart. 1 hour and an hour a day, not for me. If we get a nice TC working now, we are conflicting with the session highs. So just be careful when you take a trade. I don't want to ruin a good day, bad trade. Looking at this pullback right now, it's still kind of suspect, the fact that we just had a nice thrust on up. We broke on up to the north side. Now we're pulling back right below these significant highs right here and right here. Me, big red flag. Do I want to take this particular trade? Nope. Also, another red flag is the stop loss is getting large. Y'all can see right now the stop loss would be at least 3 pips, just about. And the wave size is about 6.6 pips. So my new wave is going to be at least 9 pips. And the previous wave was 6.6. That is a fallacy. That's fake. That's a fantasy. And I don't want to trade things because I believe something and then I want to not believe something. It's chopping around. It's still chopping around. It's going to be chopping around for who knows how long. But daily limits keep me from looking at the chart, bleeding my eyeballs out for hours for no reason. Call it a day. Been a good video, y'all. Y'all heard me talk. Hopefully you got some helpful insight on when not to trade today. Today was a no trading day. Normally, this does not happen. I normally do trade. I normally would find at least 1 or 2 setups a day. If it's like this, it's really just something going on behind the scenes that I do not understand. And I'm not taking any losses on this day. I'm just sitting here, save myself from losses actually in front of y'all. So y'all have a great day. Once again, I'm not going to take this buy if it breaks above the last minute highs because too many conflicts, way too many conflicts. And that's it, y'all. So have a great day. Trade safe. Be careful this week. Y'all can see how it's been behaving across the board. Don't do anything silly. Don't act impulsive. Be respectful of yourself, your strategy, and evolve. All right, y'all. Peace.